From the first aerial battle to the last explosion, The Last Jedi sears the imagination like a red-hot blaster. If the best of the recent Star Wars movies have been enjoyable but unexceptional, this one is not just another planet-hopping odyssey. Jedi gambles on moments of heart-pounding daring and raw emotion, and it wins big. The fandom is gonna need a bigger lightsaber because The Last Jedi is almost as thrilling and memorable as The Empire Strikes Back. After suffering through the dreadful Jar Jar Binks period, that's a sentence this sci-fi fan never thought she'd write. I stand corrected. After years of watching the mythology reduced to a mere vehicle to push merchandise, the true Jedi spirit is back. The movie is so good, maybe even great, it makes words like epic seem puny. The Force is strong with Rian Johnson. The writer/director honors the canon, but he isn't content to merely imitate it. Looking at you, The Force Awakens. Instead, he aspires for the kind of heady idiosyncrasy and deep emotional truth that animated the original George Lucas films. Freed from the tyranny of trying to please everybody, Jedi pulls off the biggest mind trick ever. In a pop culture universe teeming with derivative reboots, Jedi actually feels unique. What's even more surprising is how relevant and potent this sci-fi parable turns out to be. 40 years after the franchise first began, it feels like a clarion call for all who would resist the forces of tyranny, and not just the kind found on a Death Star. Indeed, there's more than one screed against greed, particularly war profiteering, that strikes an all too timely chord of resonance. Disney is justified in asking that reviewers avoid spoilers because the fiercest part of this 2.5-hour flick, the longest in the Star Wars canon but also one of the most suspenseful, lies in its unpredictability. You may see some things coming, of course, such as the chance to say a tearful goodbye to Princess Leia forever, the late great Carrie Fisher in her swan song, but for the most part, you never know where the next jump to hyperspace is going to land you, and that's flat out exhilarating. The bones of the plot are already known, but the wit embedded in the dialogue comes as a welcome surprise. The promising acolyte Rey, Daisy Ridley, aspires to train with the legendary Luke Skywalker, a grizzled Mark Hamill, to learn the path of the Jedi, amid a looming standoff between the Resistance and the Dark Side, led by the abominable Supreme Leader Snoke, Andy Serkis, and fired by the implacable evil of his protege, Kylo Ren, played with terrifying intensity by Adam Driver. All who can resist the siege of corruption join forces with Leia, now a battle-tested general, whose ranks include the reformed stormtrooper Finn, John Boyega, and cocky fliboypo, Oscar Isaac. Alas, nothing is simple in this iteration of the classic. Everyone is deeply flawed, even the heroes. Worst of all, tirelessly fighting the good fight doesn't always lead to glory. The combat tableaus are as harrowing as they are spectacular.